All right, championships, day one.
Yeah, mate. Hope you got your flippers. Hope you got your snorkel, raincoat, and an umbrella because she gonna be wet down in Sydney. Real wet.
Real wet. Sprinkler championships.
Yes.
Randwick's the winner.
Oh, look, saw a stat during the week that I think something like 16 of the last 17 Doncasters have been run on a soft 6 or worse. So, true to form, but doesn't mean we can't have a bit of fun. And if you're going to have a bit of fun for the championships, who are you going to do it with, mate?
Mate, the great, not just the good people, the great people at Ned's, because not only can you do anything that you like there, you can get exotic if you like, but there's also this fun thing called the Ned's profiles. And, there's been some early or some astute drifters following us in with the thousands of followers that we have.
Yes, we do a futures preview podcast every month for the following month, and there's been a few ponies that we've outlined at big prices who've gone on to win or run really well in some feature races, and there's a couple who are featuring this weekend. So go back and listen to the catalogue and listen to this podcast because you'll find out. But, big thanks to the great people at Ned's.
Yes. But what are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
I need to ask you a question. Be curious, drifters.
Mr. Brightside spins them up and wins again. Zardozi wins the Oaks for J-Mac. The photo finish. Mr. Brightside or Romantic Warrior.
The mare's going, great guns, Fangirl. Look at her go, Fangirl.
Imperatrice has got her. And raced on by Imperatrice by a length.
Overpass, more Baker's Delight in Perth.
Radina just won it, I'd say. Tom Kedden won the spring champion in a cakewalk.
Without a fight, won the Caulfield Cup.
Mate, you were down at Randwick for day one of the championships. A sunny day. How was it?
Phenomenal. Look, it was the heavens opened and it absolutely bucketed down in Sydney. And I even woke up in the middle of the night on Friday night and had a quick look-see outside, and it was still absolutely pissing down. And by the time I actually got going on Saturday, it was bloody hot, sunny, not a cloud in the sky. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it looked good. Let me just turn that aircon off.
Yeah, mate, you turn that aircon off. But it honestly, it is like a miracle that.
Yeah.
Man, it was like a soft 7 by the end of the day.
It must have been like a firm 1 during the week.
Had to have been.
Yeah. So full credit to I feel like the Sydney curators get absolutely hammered by punters, but they did a sensational job.
Yes, they did, and they'll feel very vindicated. A lot of people were sort of saying, Thursday, even as early as Wednesday, they just need to move it now, move it back a week, and it's like, well,
No.
why?
Yeah.
Just wait and see.
Yeah. So, if everyone signed off on it, the participants were happy. Mate, it played very fair yesterday, all things considered, and, heavy 8 it landed up on.
Yeah.
Race, I think it was race 5, which was really good to see. Randwick as a track, though, as you going there, paint a picture for me, because I've only been to, Moonee Valley, Doomben, Flemington and Eagle Farm.
Yeah. Oh, Randwick's right up there. I'd say it's a toss up between it and Flemington for me. It's just so well set out. So the big wing stand, which is new, is general admin, and sort of behind the wing stand is where all the horses are kept. So even the stables are, a lot better than what we get up here in Queensland. And where we were sitting was sort of, I'd say in line with the 50-metre post, but sort of up in the grandstand. Sensational viewing. Absolutely sensational viewing. I've been there for an Everest as well. Never seen a race course more packed. Yeah, Randwick's phenomenal, mate. They really know how to do it.
Biggest roar of the day, Celestial Legend or Riff Rocket?
Ooh, I'd probably say Riff Rocket, yeah, because
$2 favourite.
Yeah, he's a favourite. But the Donny, the atmosphere was electric.
Yeah, it would have been.
It was really, really good. And and your boy might have snuck into the owners section to watch the size produce with one Sneesby Racing.
Yes.
Courtesy of the Waterhouse Bot stable. We managed to get our hands on some Anode owners tickets.
Good.
So
Okay.
yeah, we were like, shit, if Anode wins, like, do you reckon we could get up and get the trophy? Because so Adrian introduced us to the other owners, which were his family, and the way they were speaking to us was like, oh, these guys must be in the ownership as well.
Oh dear.
So during the mounting yard, Craig and I were just chilling, in the middle section where all the owners are, and then you sort of go through the big tunnel after the horses have gone through, and so that was a ripper experience. So thanks to CSB Racing for that. But the Manal owners were right behind us. Yeah, absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah. No, it was a close day, I would have said. Celestial Legend, your on top selection. Have you rewatched the ride?
Yeah, about 100 times.
That's right up there with one of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, easy. And it was sort of hard to tell from where I was how good the ride was. And obviously, when I'm on him, I only have eyes for him in the entire race. And I was like, oh shit, this sucks. Yeah. Like, he's just not going to get out. And
gonna run third.
Yeah, going to run on a bit, but pierced the tiniest of gaps and just ran over the top of him. Like, he must have been full of running to get through that gap as well, and a brave horse. So yeah, that was definitely a highlight for your boy. Another highlight, had a few different groups of drifters come up and say g'day during the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so came up and said g'day. It was actually just before we went down to the owner's circle. So I was with Claudia, who's like, I guess, Gain Adrian's sort of right-hand woman, so to speak, and Craig, and a group of drifters came up and said g'day. And she was like, what do you do? Well, don't worry about it, Claudia.
Have you seen the good people in Neds?
Yeah. So yeah, thanks to the drifters for coming to say g'day, making me look like I was more important than what I actually am.
Hey, don't cut yourself short there, mate.
But phenomenal day, mate.
Yeah.
A few close seconds for you.
Oh, mate, don't you worry. We'll get to it. And tell you what, there's a few things that are some consistent themes around this weekend of racing. Me being real good for a second. Mate, some bleeders. A ton of bleeders across Caulfield and Randwick.
Caulfield was a literal bloodbath.
Oh.
There was two winners at around the sort of 5 or 6 mark, and then there was a couple at the $8 to 10 mark, and the rest were juicy odds. I don't think the victim even got a place in the entire day.
It was crazy, but I tell you what, the Source had a few running second, and I tried to play it because I was playing with theirs at different times.
Yeah,
I was playing with Ned's, and then I tried to turn that into something far bigger.
Yeah,
as you saw.
Yeah.
I was so close. So close. But, mate, another common theme was bubbles bursting across the day. Storm Boy. The drifters were in with a ton of questions. One from Brandon Francis, a avid listener on YouTube, I believe, a watcher. What the hell are Coolmore thinking right now? Because it's been confirmed he's off for a spell as well.
Yeah, you'd think so.
He had a tough run.
Never looked comfortable.
No.
Never looked comfortable.
That was my concern. He's a big, thick colt on a heavy ground. And that was why I was never interested in Commemorative in the last, because she's a big filly as well. So the big horses, I tend to stick out of them on the wet ground.
Yeah. No, he never looked comfortable. Look, I think Coolmore would be severely disappointed. They've also got stacks of cash, so they can afford to take the risk. Stormboy spell, come back as a 3-year-old, don't write him off.
Yeah.
I'd say he's been up a long time for a 2-year-old.
So, in retrospect, he hasn't really beaten anything, right? He's beaten the likes of, Traffic Warden and has he actually? I don't know if he has. I can't remember. Maybe really early on in his form. But he was in 7-horse fields. I think, what? I look back to the best Magic Millions winners that we've had in recent years, right? That have gone on to do something. There's 2 fillies that come to mind.
Away game?
No, not away game. Coolangatta and Sunlight.
Yep.
So Sunlight ran, and both of them, including Stormboy, all three of them ran third in the slipper.
Yeah.
And then they basically pulled up stumps. It's like, it's actually really hard for these 3-year-olds to go for more than one grand final.
100% it is, yeah. So, I said on the podcast during the week, like you weren't even with him, you were with Traffic Warden. But I said that, geez, the price is a bit short for Stormboy.
Yeah. And, mate, he got smashed.
He got smashed, yeah, with the Whirlpools, yeah. Never looked comfortable. I'd put a line through the end of this prep, see what he looks like when he comes back as a 3-year-old. I would not be surprised if he's winning Group 1s as a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
Drifters. So I can understand if your finger's a little bit burnt after diving into him twice in a row like I have, but it is what it is.
Oh, yeah, Now, there was a stat going around on, I think it was on, I heard it on SEN Track, one of the gurus, like data gurus there during the week saying that in the sires, it's actually, you basically need a horse that can run the distance, which is uncommon. I think it's like, basically, it was some crazy stat like there's been no winner sitting in the first 6 in running in the last 10 years or something. So you basically want a backmarker on stats.
Fascinating.
Yeah, really fascinating. And Manal was basically last.
Yeah.
But it was a super bunch field, so it's like, whatever. But, yeah, Storm Boyd was 3 wide, no cover. I think with Lady of Camelot coming out, that really dented his chances, I think, because he would have had that, because she drew directly inside him, he would have been able to follow her across. About here, that's what, 300, 200 from home. He does wind up a little bit, but then he just peaks on his run. End of prep, it looks like. I was getting real nervous around here. But he kicks back a little bit and, mate.
Just the bob, mate.
Sucks.
Just the bob, it does suck.
But Manal, she was in the better part of the track in the slipper, ran home just as well as Traffic Warden. Been on Traffic Warden. We've been spruiking him for this race at $26 for, a couple of months. And, shout out to Dane Phillips, Traffic Warden ahead, mate, more like a bee stick away from one of the great futures bets from the boys. Thank you, Dane. But
Thank you, Dane.
It's not meant to be, mate. But hey, you can't have everything, can you?
You literally can't have everything in life. You can't.
And that is the last time we will see Traffic Warden at the track for about 3 to 6 months. Bled both nostrils.
Did he?
Mate, this happens to Godolphin horses a lot. They bleed a lot. When compared to other stables, I feel like.
Yeah. Oh, I think that she's got a big crop. But yeah, no, you're right. Well, that sucks for Traffic Warden, but he'll make a nice 3-year-old.
He will.
He'll make a really nice 3-year-old. And then, okay, heading towards the Champagne mile race for 2-year-olds, do you think one of those wins it? Like Manal? Does she back up?
I'd say so. Why wouldn't she? She's going to be hard to beat. What else is going to go there? I'd have to, we can have a look at the market now, but it'd be really hard. You'd have a set of nuts bigger than Tyler Schiller to take her on, I'd say.
Yeah.
Stormboy's not going to be there. Traffic Warden's not going to be there. Who ran third? Coleman. He was good. But I'd probably take the filly over him.
Mm-hmm.
Champagne Stakes. Let's have a look here. Linebacker. So that's going to be his only grand final of the prep. So Traffic Warden's $5. Don't bother. He won't be in there. Espionage jumping from 12 to 1600.
Nah,
probably
not
not.
happen.
Devana was plain, a node. He was fine. Lady of Camelot, but she'll go to the fillies version next week over the 1200 meters, which will suit better. Bodyguard.
Could be one of those.
Hang on.
One of those champagnes where it's only got 6 horses.
Gatsby's. 100 to 1.
Grand final?
Yeah, so I think it's at $3.50. That's backable. Linebacker will be hard to beat as well. So, not to be for Stormboy. So Lachlan Tognella Does Stormboy win a Group 1 as a 2-year-old? He does not, because he's off to the Spelling paddock, and I doubt he'd head to the JJ. But yeah, Celestial Legend we've kind of touched on. So a couple of questions from the Drifters here. Mate, got a ton here. Is Les Bridge in interviews the best thing since sliced bread? Josh Buttonshaw.
He's pretty dry, isn't he?
He's astute.
He keeps it short and sweet. When someone who's that old and has been training for so long and has been in the game for that long is like, this is the best horse I've ever had. Like, you just got to listen to him.
100% you do.
So no, it was fantastic to see, and I'd love to know what year he won his first ever Group 1.
Oh,
because he's 85, so let's just say conservatively he was 40.
Well, that's the thing. Like
45 years ago,
he was what was the Hobartville? Like, he was 40 years in between Hobartvilles.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, like that gives you what was that? That would have been Group 2, Group 3 or something. That was like where I was really close to putting Celestial Legend on top. I just wanted the superior wet tracker, which probably wasn't warranted on the day, I'd say. And Detonator Jack was in. He ran really well. He ran 5th. I thought TC from that because he jumped from barrier 1 after post scratchings. I thought he would have been closer than that.
Yeah.
And in the worst part of the track, he ran really well.
Did we pick top 5 on the podcast?
Did we? Pericles?
Yeah, I put Pericles in my numbers.
Yeah. I had the trifecta yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah. We didn't have Nugget.
Oh, no, we didn't.
No, and that was a sweat for my trifecta there. I was like, man, he got smashed, Nugget. He's about $26.
Did he?
Yeah.
Militarized was a great run. 54 kilos for a 3-year-old.
Yeah. All right. Here's a conversation, right? You know, he gave 5 kilos to Celestial Legend. How good is Celestial Legend? Is he the best 3-year-old we have?
Yeah.
Riff Rocket?
Ooh.
So, all right, if Celestial Legend, right, and Riff Rocket line up in a Cox Plate, for instance, 2,000 metres as 4-year-olds?
Celestial for me, just because. But I was thinking that last night. I was like, Celestial Legend, that was his 8th start. And through the line, like, because he only just got out, and through the line, he looked really strong. Like, he's a Cox Plate horse, I reckon. Riff Rocket's really good. He's really, really good. But I think Celestial's just got a bit of X factor about him, I think.
I don't know.
Riff Rocket's good.
I think it's a flip of the coin, really.
Yeah.
And you chuck in a Zardozi and Orchestral, they're probably Orchestral's like right up there.
Yeah.
I'd say it's those 3, and then Zardozi's like a close 4th.
Yeah.
You know, but it's a bunch finish in the finish.
Yeah.
I would say.
Do you think we see Militarized race on as a 4-year-old? Surely.
I think they have to.
Yeah.
Because he's how many times
he's placed every start this prep.
Yeah. So he's not running poorly, but
No.
I think the breeding industry is kind of turning as well. It's like they want those better performed stallions going to stud as well. So we might, because Animo, was he a early season or late season 4-year-old that he went on for?
What do you mean?
Like, so did he go to stud after he's
at the end of his 4-year-old season?
Yeah, so I'd say we have another year of Militarized, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah. I'd say we're same for Celestial Legend too.
Yeah.
He'll race on as a 4-year-old, surely.
Yeah.
And I think, Militarized, you have a throw at the stumps in the Cox Plate again, surely.
Yeah.
Have to.
Yep.
But yeah, it was an unbelievable win. Like, one of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah. It was fantastic. And you know what else I learnt out of yesterday was Pericles wins the Epsom by a couple of lengths.
I know, mate. I know. That was like that was the only bet I was talking about the entire spring.
I know. Accepts for the race, draws well, and then has to be put away. We actually have, and Blaze Chapman is a avid listener by all reports. How much spew did Jonesy have ready to chuck up when Pericles was looming large?
Oh.
At 40-1, no less.
I probably just would have laughed. Like, And like if Pericles won as a result of Celestial Edge not being able to get out, like
Yeah.
I probably would have driven through the KP Rotundo. But he's a good horse, Pericles.
He's very good.
He's a good horse.
Yeah. Now, Josh Bunny, Buny maybe. Where to now for think about it?
Oh, do you know what? Didn't give him any thought whatsoever.
Started $21. So Joe Pride wins trains the Everest winner and third placing as well. Scratched Private Eye because he's not as effective on heavy ground anymore. But his SP was 40-1 before scratchings.
Yeah.
For Private Eye, unbelievable. And then think about it, trained as miler now. $21 at 57 kilos, gets beaten 3.2 lengths. Is the experiment as him as a middle distance horse like finished? Have we had enough of a sample size, do you reckon?
Oh, pretty harsh to say it, I think. He
hasn't run bad races.
He's his first up run in the Canterbury Stakes, one he was first up and he was ridden a little bit upside down. And the Georgia Rider was the same. Like he hasn't drawn a gate this prep. I think he can run a mile, but 57 kilos against a really red hot Doncaster field.
Yeah.
I think I'd want to see him at weight for age over the mile. So I wouldn't completely write him off, but at the same time, like you look at that TJ Smith and I think he would have been better off lining up there.
Yeah. So we might not see, I think you go two ways, right? I reckon you take him to the Mackay Diva in the spring. Flemington, get him on if they're wanting him at the Cox Plate, then I reckon that's the perfect setup. Get him early. You know, you can put him away now and then target that race. Wait for age at Flemington, figure out if he likes his Melbourne leg. And then if he wins that, then, you know, then head towards Cox Plate. If not, you can even pull up stumps and then reassess and target him towards a TJ or something in the autumn, next autumn.
Yeah, well, he's gelding. Plenty of time. He's only 5.
Yeah.
But no, we were both against him in this race. It just didn't.
Yeah.
Just the prep leading into it wasn't good. We were against Lady Laguna, so we got that right.
Well, I forget who was on Lady Laguna, but basically end a prep run for her, which, you know, it was her 8th or 9th run.
So fair.
So, and at the mile was the concern for you as well, which is very well found. You know who was a great run for 2,000 metres? What are they doing?
I don't know.
Kovalika. Look at him. Length in here. He might be... Do I double down on my Caulfield Cup bets here? Back to back? Is he the one?
He could be the one, mate. I
I
don't understand the prep for him. Because he gets so far back and he doesn't have the sprint in his legs to win a mile as a stayer.
No.
He'll be on the quick back up in the Queen Elizabeth. I don't know what price is going to be there, but he'll give it a sight, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% he will. You know, there wasn't actually too many races to measure up times. Like, for instance, I think the Country Championships was run quicker than the Sires, but, you know, that was a really bunched field. I don't think they were running that much speed. If Lady Camelot was there, they would have run much quicker.
Yeah.
I think the Doncaster was 4 lengths quicker than what was the other race on the day? I don't know my sectionals. Anyway, there was another 1,600 metre race on the day and they ran quicker than that. I think it was the Tannhauser race, Ducas race. So you'd hope.
Tannhauser.
Mate, that was another one I ended up backing on the day.
I backed Ducas.
Oh, you are kidding.
You did, yeah. Mate, I was actually... Mate, the victim had a terrible day, but if the victim was the Sydney victim, like, I think it was like 5 or 6 winners.
That is crazy because I jumped on Tannhauser. I had something tiny on him, like $10 or something. But he was like 15-1 and then he's losing by half a length. I'm like, what is happening now? What is happening to me?
But we were right about Tannhauser. Like he's showing us something in his prep.
So, you know, there might be, I don't know, 2 weeks Champagne Stakes day 3 of the championships, if that's the thing. Like there could be something for him that day, I'd say.
Yeah, would you even like try and bring him up here and run him as the 3-year-old in like the Doom at 10,000 or something.
10-houser.
Yeah. Or the Derby or something. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, Doom 10,000.
Queensland Derby.
Yeah.
Or maybe South Australia?
Chris Waller doesn't really go to the depths of South Australia, does he?
No, he doesn't. But Toffee, he took Toffee Tongue there, remember? Because she couldn't.
Toffee Tongue.
Yeah, for the Oaks.
Yeah. She was a maiden.
And the $1 million races now.
True.
Who else is going to be in the South Australian Derby? Shearwolf will go there?
That is where I love the stable. Love the stable there. That's where Trent Buston and Natalie Young pulled the wrong rein. They shouldn't have gone to the Australian Derby. They should have pulled up stumps after that.
On immediacy.
Because he's doing it all in one prep. If they had gapped the runs for about 6 to 8 weeks, that would have been a perfect setup for him.
Yeah. I had a small bet on him.
Yeah. And it's like, I understand the thinking because at the time when he won that race, the Australian Derby, there was no talk about Riff Rocket going there. There was talk about him basically going to 2,000 metres, staying at the 2,000 metre trip, and then the Waller stable just went to plan probably C, which is well within their rights too. But yeah, I reckon, the race got a lot deeper because like Shearwolf came on, Tom Kitten, developed as like a prospect for the Derby instead of like a Queen Elizabeth. So, fascinating. But the Derby, that is
That's a sick beat.
Oh, it is a sick beat, but mate, he won by like half length again. And Blake Shin is riding unbelievable.
He's very good.
But he had his pants pulled down and his bottom smacked by J-Mac here. I've rewatched this too many times because Zardozi was my own top selection, but I thought Shearwolf would have been a really good chance in the race. And J-Mac at the 600, this is where he wins the race. Basically gains 2 to 3 lengths inside of Shearwolf and takes the inside lane. And then look at that. Shin on Shearwolf loses about 2 lengths, and that's all you needed. And the frustrating thing is, Shearwolf drew barrier 5 and Riff Rocket drew barrier 10. But somehow, look at the lane that Shearwolf was in. And arguably the better ground, sure, but he's a Tavistock. He gets through it clearly. And these two absolutely gap the rest. And you look at him, mate. And like through the line, he's pretty much holding him as well. So it's like, it is a sickish beat to an extent, but like Riff Rocket, I think, is just a freak.
Yeah. Well, I had a bet on Riff Rocket, and then I had a small bet on. I was a 2-bet Terry, but immediacy was the price where you could do that.
Exactly.
And he rode for luck a little bit, J-Mac, but gee whiz, that was like Tyler Schiller's ride was the ride of the day, but that was bloody good ride too.
It was.
Good ride.
It was. And one of the drifters actually gave us a little bit of a drive-by, which I don't mind from time to time. From Dean Pirro, Riff Rocket doesn't stay. 2 2,400 metre wins suggest otherwise. Where to next for him? It's a fair comment. I think J-Max rides on both does influence the result though.
Yeah. I think, we were saying he doesn't stay because post the Victoria Derby, like who did he beat there?
Apulia, who's
doing what now? Exactly. So it was a good win in the Derby, but when the stable comes out straight afterwards and says he's not a stayer, he just did that on brilliance. Well, what are we going to say on the podcast?
Yeah, exactly.
No, he's a stayer. We disagree with Chris Waller and Charlie fucking Duckworth.
Yeah.
But no, it's a fair comment. I think he's a horse who has a 3-year-old, the Derby, absolutely fine. I don't think you'll be seeing him racing over 2,400 metres as a 4-year-old.
Like I don't foresee this horse being in Caulfield Cups.
I don't think so. He's going to be aimed at the Cox Plate.
Yep.
I'd say. And
like your Might and Powers and that sort of thing.
I think so. Like I would be shocked to see him in a Caulfield Cup, especially now because what sort of weights are you going to get in a race like that?
Exactly. 3-time Group 1 winner. First since like this is where we have to so Haitotsu was the same group as Animo.
Yeah.
That age group.
Yeah.
So at the end of their 3-year-old season, it was bloody close because Animo won the Rosehill Guineas, did he?
Yep.
But then Haitotsu won his second derby, and he won a Australian Guineas as well. So
Animo at that stage had won the Caulfield Guineas, the Rosehill Guineas, and the Size Project. So I think he was on 3 as well.
Yeah. So basically, Haitotsu and Riff Rocket have got very similar resumes.
True.
But I'd say it's probably fair to say that Haitotsu's 3-year-old year was a stronger crop. So I'd say it's probably advantage Haitotsu at this stage, but Riff Rocket's a very progressive horse.
So what was the commentary around Zardozi being scratched? Just the deck, or
I think it was the deck, and then I think this is where, like, credit to the, and I'm not shitting on the Randwick like turf staff. Like, you had to put that up a heavy 10, right? Then it gets upgraded to a heavy 9 before the race.
Yeah.
Coyer Brown on the broadcast, which I texted you and I sent you the link, sticking his umbrella into the ground, going like, "This isn't worse than a soft 6." And then, that was for a jockey. And then, Tommy Berry said after the first, winning on Espionage, going like, "Oh, it's a genuine heavy track, but it's like, it's fine.
Fine, yeah.
No kickback." If the Connections had known that it was that track, like, would they have?
Yeah,
but I'm sure they would have like walked the track as well.
True. And do you know what? I watched the Derby this morning, and the tempo was pretty good. So that probably would have suited Zardozi, and ultimately, would she have beaten Riff Rocket or even ran a placing? I think so.
Yeah,
I think she runs top 3.
Yep.
But Riff Rocket is pretty bloody good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the other thing back to my immediacy point, I think it's really, really difficult to do it in your first prep. Really, really hard. So, Stormboy was pretty much doing that as a 2-year-old as well. Whereas I think Manal was early days and then came back. Traffic Gordon did the same thing. They ran the Quinella, Lady Camelot in the Slipper, and like Hey Sugi in the Diamond.
Yeah.
Like it's a common trend for like the 2-year-old or in their first preps, whether they're 2 or 3.
Another Wills wasn't in his first prep, but sometimes it can just come too soon for you.
Yeah, and it's like, for another Will, like it was he ran well. I think he ran 5th or something.
Yeah.
But it's like different gravy from the benchmark 78s he's been in.
Yeah, and a lot of the races that he's been in have set up so well for him because they've been relatively small fields, or he's got an easy lead.
Yeah.
And so he's absorbed a bit of pressure and kicked away. He's still a very smart horse. So if you backed him, Drifter's like, I wouldn't be disheartened. It's a little bit disappointing, but he was very short.
Yes. Could you hear a pin drop when Channel Lightning won?
Yes, I could. I honestly, and I know you're probably not going to believe me, but I was like, do I put her in the quaddie?
Yeah, I honestly don't blame her. She was brilliant last start.
Yeah, she was really good. And just with the heavy deck and the great draw, I just thought, and especially when Imperatriz was playing up, I was like almost going to risk Imperatriz in the quaddie. But hindsight's a beautiful thing. We would have lost it anyway because I was putting Facile in the last. But
yeah, true.
You could definitely hear a pin drop. But she was 20, so she wasn't 50-1. But she was so good last start. And remember her first prep.
Oh, mate.
And she's just strung together 5 or 6 wins. She looked like she could be up to this. I think the key to her is just a heavy deck, right?
Heavy deck, but these mares, mate, when they get in form, I think that's been the common trend throughout this autumn. Like these mares in form, just like, and Frosty steals a couple of lengths, like taking the shortest way home. And I was expecting Magic Time back in the inside to go past her, but she was tough, mate. At Wait for Age.
Yep.
Like her first up run, it was in the Oakley Plate, I think. Like she was only beaten a couple lengths, and she showed like she held him on the line there.
It's a bunch finish. Who's the strongest through the line?
Espiona.
Easily. Yeah.
Like, mate, and beware the held up horse, mate. This was, if you're on Espiona, this is like one of the 6 beats of the day. Look,
yep.
So there she is there, right, next to whoever that is in the Australian bloodstock. We need to talk about that. Basically, on the back of Espiona, of Imperatriz rather, nowhere to go. But when she gets out, mate, look at her head. She is a bona fide, like, still a work in progress. Look at this. It gets worse later. Look at that. Look at that.
She's nuts.
So, and look at her through the line there. And it's like, you know, she was held up, so she was probably had more to give. All honours the winner, I think. I'd have to see like the raw times because I don't think they were going crazy up front either. And she was like, she was first at the 400 Chain of Lightning, which was a little bit out of character for her as well. But Frosty has this in him. Like, he's so good.
Yeah.
Espiona, unlucky. I Wish I Win was sensational.
First up, it was good.
Really good. Bella Nipotina, first time she's seen a heavy track since her William Reed, I think.
Yeah.
Imperatriz, nothing in the steward's report.
She didn't look like she wanted to be there. And she has that in her.
Yeah. Like Sydney Way.
Yeah.
Heavy track.
Hasn't been going as well as prep.
No.
Still been going great. Like she's picked up 2 Group 1s.
Yeah. Well, mate, I was early days of I Wish I Win, but then I went the likes of Aft Cabin, who never again for me.
No, you can't. You'd have to see it again. He finished last, didn't he?
Hey, Coal Crusher finished last.
Oh, my apologies. I was on Sunshine in Paris. She was good. She was good. She's got caught wide the whole trip.
Yeah, beaten less than a length, and that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
So from 1st to 7th, it's one length.
Tough race to get a gauge on.
Yeah. So
heading towards future races like the All Aged and whatnot.
All Aged.
Is that where Espiona's going to be going? Because she'll have a lot of punters on her.
I hope they pull up stumps and
go to Royal Ascot.
Fly to Ascot.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Is I Wish I Win going to the All Aged?
Well, it's either that or it depends because Moods loves to. He doesn't like giving his bung leg. He doesn't like to run him too often. So I've heard Doom and 10,000 thrown up around for him.
Yeah.
Just don't know about the Titanic track for him. For that, I don't know.
He could just be better than everything that's in there.
Well, I say that, but one of his best performances was at Golden Eagle.
Yeah,
at
true.
Rose Hill. So,
True.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think Sunshine in Paris is still a good chance in that race, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and the forecast in Sydney this week looks far better. So it's like, I think she's better on top of the ground.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I think there will be a question mark around this form, but I think that All Age winner does come from this race still.
Yeah.
And then other races on the day. What else do we have here? Good Banter was tipped out by you. Autumn Angel was sensational with the heavyweight. Gave her 8 kilos. Good Banter from John O'Shea saying that she's not heading to the Oaks next week.
Autumn Angels will run a big race in the Oaks with that weight, and you just hope it wasn't too much of a gut buster for her. But she was sensational.
Yeah, she was good. Ahu Hiri. Never in it. So that was good. Ducasse. Honestly, I've backed that thing like 4 times.
I know. I was thinking of you when I backed him. It's funny.
Hey, give me a heads up next time. Circle of Fire, the source's best of the day.
Yes.
Knuckled down.
Good win.
Yeah.
Thanks to the sauce.
Yeah, $3.60 started, and then Espionage absolutely brained him in the first.
Easy start to the day.
First Immortal was the only thing I really want to touch on from Caulfield. He looked like he had a ton to give.
And just, he
was held up a long way though.
He was, but
I think for a 2-miler over the 2,000 meters, he just needs clear air.
Need to get through his gears. So it was a sick watch. The victim, honestly, I think I had one placing for the day, and that was in the last Frigid.
Oh,
the Frigid got absolutely whacked as well.
What was she did? Corbo of Corno fame, who had one of the great surprises yesterday for his 30th. He was like, who do you like in the last at Caulfield? Corno. He was like, I don't mind Belle Placier. I was like, you know what, mate? I've had time for this mare before. Sure. 63 kilos be damned.
It's a lot of weight.
600 from home. She looked gone, and then she picked up.
Back up. She ran second, didn't she?
Mate. And the green thing on the outside, I was just like, at 10 to 1, I was like, can I catch a fucking break today?
Oh.
It was brutal, but hey, I'm not a victim about it.
No, the victim was a victim, that's for sure.
Before we get to futures markets for next week, because there is a few in there that I want to touch on. Josh Bell, a friend of ours, has a question for us, which is more like an industry thing. I'm fascinated to hear what you have to say about this. Thoughts on silks being color-coded like greyhound racing? Obviously issues, but for the casual, i.e., it might be easier for the casual punter to follow.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I've never thought about that at all. So what? Every barrier has
I'd say so.
Has a color. Yeah, I get it, and that's definitely more inviting for the casual to sort of understand what's going on. But silks are it's one of the things in the great game that is so specific to the great game.
Yeah.
And I actually was talking about silks to I think Craig yesterday around the fact that once you do get into it, it's actually brilliant.
Yeah.
Because you see silks and you recognize them and you're like, oh, okay. Oh, so that person owns that one as well. And then you start to build a bit more rapport with certain silks. So, really fascinating point, fascinating take. And yeah, horse racing's obviously got issues with, getting more people involved, getting people interested. But I don't think that'll ever change.
Yeah, I don't think so. Because I think the way you can spin it to the casual is like, why is there 3 of the same silks in there? It's like, oh, well, they've got X, Y, Z and that sort of thing. And it's like, they're owned by Godolphin and Godolphin's like this big, like international operation. And they have Darley Stud and, this, if they have a good one, they'll hang on to them and that sort of thing. So,
yeah, do a lot for the industry.
Yeah. That's why they have the different caps.
Yeah.
Like prayers for Darren Flindell.
Yeah. Well, in the Donny, like however many runners there end up being in the Donny, it's like, geez, you have to get a lot of colours for the barriers.
Yeah.
Like the first 10 would probably have pretty standard colours, and then by the time you get to like 18, it'd be like poo brown colour.
Yeah,
they're pretty bad.
Well, a Melbourne Cup, 24 of them.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But yeah, speaking of silks, bloody Aussie bloodstock.
Second to Portsea.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. I get to the pub yesterday, and the first thing that Matthew Dolab said to me was like, have you had a word to Jack Bruce yet? Because like, what was Damien thinking? I was like, it wasn't his fault, mate. It was the thing that fell in his lap and just didn't take her into the race.
And it shuffled us back even further than what we were.
Yeah, because like that thing just didn't take the initiative, and it sat like 3 lengths off the next one on the fence, and she was 4 back behind that. She was basically second last heading into the turn. And from all reports, she didn't get through the ground either, which was playing more like a soft 7.
Didn't look like she enjoyed it, and I can't recall exactly, but it didn't look like there was a stack of pace either.
No, so definitely a forgive. First try at 1,800 metres. It just, and she still has that same pedigree in her because like she gapped the rest of them, but she got gapped too. So it's like, not a great run, but not a disaster.
She can bounce back. First, fourth. The prep, happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Why wouldn't you be? So commiserations to the second of Portsea, but that's what happens. Now, when I was having a look at the stewards' reports, right? So the following horses were lame. So Bandy's Boy, 2 hour 5 lame, near 4 leg. Rustley Crown, 2 hour 5 lame, and A Girl's Best Friend, 3 hour 5 lame. Traffic Warden, as mentioned, first time both nostrils bleed. And then at Caulfield, there's a ton here, mate. This is crazy. So Invincible Bow in the first, lame right hind. White Bear, blood the left nostril. Furoshi, bled both nostrils. Apulia, both nostrils. And Marquess, lame left hind and mucus.
Jeez.
So there was a fair bit going on.
Carnage.
Yeah, so there was blood everywhere, mate. Now, one other thing I saw in this is important for the Sydney Cup market, which is, handicap. It should be a pretty good market to play into. Like at the moment with Neds, More Felons, $4.50 favourite, which is probably fair enough. Ash Run, $5.50. Circle Fire on the quick backup, $6. A Made, $9. Post Impressionist, do not bet on him. $9. He is out for a spell, confirmed from the stable.
Is he?
Yeah. So you can double check that but that is confirmed on the Racing New South Wales stewards report for yesterday. It's right at the top.
Fascinating. So that last one just busted him up.
Yeah. Quick backup. It just
some horses can't do it, can they?
Yeah. So
greedy.
Yeah, very greedy.
Greedy.
But one Celino, any word from Sneesby Racing on how he's tracking along?
He won't do anything until he gets to the Sydney Cup.
$26. He's had some friends.
He has had some friends.
51s and 13s.
Look, yeah, he'll run top 5.
I pray he runs top 3. Because I have and some drifters, mate. This is where you need to get on the Neds profiles because there is a gamble responsibly. All you need to do is chuck $5 on. There's a 600-1 multi going on.
Yeah,
like a place multi. First two late Sunshine Paris, Cascadian in the Galaxy and the Australia Cup. Salino's the one. He's 13 to 1 in the Sydney Cup.
Place.
Zardoz in the Oaks, and then King of Sparta in the Quokka. Now Amelia's Jewel went down. Like this, it's not impossible.
It's not impossible.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah, there is a big chance. I thought Amelia's Jewel was phenomenal, even though she went down. Well, mate, she ain't a sprinter.
The Prince got her beat with the winner.
Yeah, the Prince is smart.
Mate, and tell you what, the Prince might have been in action last night, and he was like, he walked up and he was like, Prince got AJ beat.
He feels himself a bit the Prince.
He does,
he?
mate.
I love it.
Mate, oh, yeah, he was in a mood last night.
Oh, gee whiz.
Yeah. All right, let's have a look at the Queen Elizabeth, Because Via Sistina will be awfully short. I don't think there's any point in backing her in all-in markets.
Unless you got 8s.
Well done to you, sir.
Yep.
I think we did say that.
We said exactly that, mate.
Yeah.
If you like her in this race, get on her now for the Queen Elizabeth.
And I think we said that in the April Futures Markets preview. $2 she is. Now, what I was actually thinking yesterday morning in my ponderings about horse racing in general is I think Chris Wallace said it once. Is like the milers that are more so milers, I think they can get out to 2,000 metres, but you can only really give them one run at 2,000 metres of prep, right? Now, prior to Jenny at $5.50, right? She was strong. She was awfully good in that Australia Cup.
Yep.
Does she fit that mould? I'd say at this stage we probably have to say so, right?
Yeah, I think prior to Jenny, just with her, the way she runs, and from what we saw in the Australia Cup, it's going to take a smarty to run her down, which suggests to me that if she's $5.50 to win, and what does that mean? She'll be $2 to place?
Yep.
Like if you're a place better, I think that's a fantastic bet.
Yeah.
Because you're going to look home for a very long time. Although I think just the way that it's going to set up for Via Sistina with the pace on, I think that's going to allow her to show her best.
Like, for instance, Mr. Brightside at $9, you can have him for mine. Like,
happy to risk.
Yeah, so
$9 isn't really a risk, but you know what I mean.
Place to Carousel, $12. Riff Rocket, 14s. Militarize if he backs up 15s. Now, the one that you were talking, Buckaroo, 19s. A Tissue, $26. That's a big price. Kovalika, $26.
That's a play. That's the best value in the race, easy.
Yeah. Pericles, 34s.
I don't think Pericles is up to that at this point.
I don't think so.
He might go around in the bloody Epsom again. Or he might actually go around in the Epsom. And then he's a bet in that race.
Yeah. So what you're saying is Kovalika, because I landed the Epsom Caulfield Cup double at 240 to 1 last year. So Pericles into Kovalika for the Caulfield Cup.
Yeah, that's a good bet.
Okay.
It's a really good bet.
Yeah. All right. What else have we got here? We have I've got all these bloody markets open. The Oaks. Now, Orchestra will be awfully short here. $1.70.
That's too short to bet on.
Zardozi $4.20. Autumn Angel $9. Two to Levita 9s. Good Banter 11s probably won't go there. Quintessa bring that different form $12. Basilina 15s. She's a good stayer, Basilina. Probably not up to that standard, I would say. And then you can pretty much have the rest, I'd say. She heads there. Molly Nickers at $26. She's around Autumn Angel, so that's a big price discrepancy, I would say.
Yep.
And then Queen of the Turf. Now, Zugocha being scratched, she's $3.70 favourite. I think a Tissue's heading here as well at $6. So Olentia $6. So Chris Waller's got a fair hand in the race. Campionessa 11s, Ruthless Dane 11s, Samana scratched from the Doncaster will be heading here at 11s, Tropical Squall at 12s.
That's value.
Better suited at weight for age, I'd say.
I'd say so.
Lady Laguna 15s, she'll be spelling, I'd say.
Yep.
Macarena Roll on High 17s. Via Sistina, she won't be in there. Hinged $26. She was good. Finishing 5th, but she can run on a bit. And then Sydney Cup we've kind of touched on. And I guess the last one, that we can just end on that. So, yeah, it was a there or thereabouts day, unfortunately. But, we did find a few winners and hopefully some of you got on track one in each way in futures markets. 26s and 7s.
26s, yeah. Shit. Oh, look, it was a unbelievable day of racing. The fact that it even went ahead, the fact that the track played like it did, full credit to the track staff.
Yeah.
And yeah, day 2 of the champs, inbound. Leslie go.
Like, there's a bit of rain on Tuesday up to 15 mil, but, it's patchy rain, so I think it'll be a soft track, I'd say. And it'll be fascinating to see how the track holds up with it being heavy on the first day.
Yeah.
I played pretty true on the weekend, but it could be a bit how you go on the second day, I'd say.
Yeah. One to look out for as well, Drifters, is the English sales are on
Winks.
Today's Sunday, but Winks' filly by Piero is going under the hammer.
What's your prediction?
On Monday. A lot of the conversations that I was having yesterday were 4 to 5 mil, which is crazy. But then I was reading an article this morning. There's an American bloodstock guy who was like, I'm happy to go up to 9 million.
Up to 9?
Up to 9 million to get this, which I doubt is going to happen. But like Coolmore's got deep pockets. Yulong's got deep pockets.
Say Yulong's the one that's probably going to be the bidding war, I'd say. Because I think, traditionally speaking, like the champion mares don't really, what's Black Caviar's best progeny? Like I Am Caviar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the champion mares don't produce champions, typically speaking. But just to own the bloodlines and to say that you've got Winks' first filly. Winks is pregnant again. She's in foal to Snitzel this time, so be interesting to see if they hold on to this one.
That thing will get through the wet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's fascinating. All right. Day 2 of the championships preview will be out on Wednesday, but yeah. See you then.
See you, Drifters.